okay. I need to work. No, 200 million, Jen. What are we talking about here?
What's your fuck you money?
See how they've got other options.
What are the other options?
Shrooms.
I need an end to this day. I've been in this house for 30 days.
You're just going to leave it up for grabs and it's going to be Game of Thrones in the next...
Actually...
Welcome to Homegirl Knows Best. This show is about the people, the stories, and all the messy chaos in between. I'm your host, Jen Cameron. Let's get into it.
Okay, so we're moving on to Gigi.
Yeah, and I've already been kind of sipping on this one, and it's very good. Like this, I think...
Oh, you were waiting for me.
No.
I feel like my vacation just continued today.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Just hang on. Keep going. So Gigi's Garden, this is... two great varietals that I really like too for lighter wines, and Sauv Blanc, Pinot Gris. Pinot Gris is really popular in Oregon and in the Northwest just in general. It does really well in our climate. And then Sauv Blanc, when I think of Sauv Blanc, I automatically think of New Zealand, right? Because New Zealand style Sauv Blanc is really crisp, citrus notes, green apple, fresh cut grass, that kind of stuff. Lemon for sure, and then Pinot Gris is more stone fruit, peach, apricot. And so like all those blended together in like a nice white blend, I feel like it's just a perfect summer, nice weather, light wine.
I love this.
Yeah.
Costco's literally at my house right now, assembling this massive sectional on our deck. For 3 years, I kept saying, I'm going to get this thing, and then it kept selling out.
This is lounge wine.
I am ready for lounge time in the summer.
Exactly.
That beautiful 6 weeks that we get in Seattle.
And wouldn't this be a good thing to drink out there?
Oh, it's the bottle alone.
It's really pretty.
It's just like decor.
Yeah, and so that kind of varietal is fun to drink in the summertime too. They are high in acid, so like if you drink a lot of them, you'll start to feel like your cheeks start to get raw because you're like, it's like if you eat too many sour candies, right? Like that used to be my problem when I used to taste wine every day, all the time for a job and tasting people on wine, be like, oh, I don't want to drink that today, just because your mouth would get torn up.
Oh my God, it's like when you were a kid and you put all the gummy bears in your mouth and you're laughing really hard and you're like, oh, now this hurts.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
People are listening are like, is she drunk already? What is she talking about?
We're just getting started.
Gummy bears, blah, blah, blah.
We have 9 wines left to go. No, just...
Uber.
Could you imagine if I brought a full bag? That would have been...
I would have been like, okay, this is a problem, a legitimate problem.
I think sense of place when drinking wine too is like, I think a lot of winemakers and especially marketers of wine and brand people in wine really focus on sense of place, on occasional wine. And, you've seen alcohol in general, just from a marketing standpoint, it's gone down the last 10 years. Like Gen Z does not drink. They've got other options. They're like,
Well, what are the other options?
Shrooms.
You're not even joking. I just literally had this conversation with a client of mine. She works in like high ER trauma, everything. And we were talking about it. And I said, what is up with this younger generation? All of a sudden it's like shrooms are a huge thing. She was, oh, honey, it's cocaine or crack. She goes, it depends on the demographic, the, financial means. Yeah. But this generation is doing this stuff. We're having so many people admitted because of it. I was over here just thinking, oh, I'm so proud of them. They're not drinking.
No, they found other things.
Yeah.
No. But I think also too, it's like this generation, for the most part they're definitely more health conscious. Like they've been, like, I'm a millennial, so I was raised on the gushers and the things. Like, we were just like, this is what we have, and this is really good, right? And then when we start seeing, like, ingredients and what things do, people are definitely more health conscious, like the Whole30 and thing, and, like, eating whole foods. Like, let's have organic everything. But I also think that that's definitely played its part in spirit and wine consumption and beer consumption for this generation. And they also have other options. Yeah. But that's not to say that like wine or spirits this is never going away. And I think that too, it's kind of still too early to count the Gen Z population out on drinking wine because they're still young. Their palates are maturing as well too. So I think that, I didn't drink a ton of wine even when I started in the wine industry. Like I drank wine. It was part of my job. It was part of my life, but it wasn't like my first thing that I gravitated to. And then I went through a really big wine phase, and then I went to a really big cocktail phase. And now I'm kind of like leaning back towards wine. You kind of go, you find something. So I think that by no means, maybe the data dips for a little bit, but I think wine will be on its
I think
comeback
they
for
just
sure.
all saw like their parents and their older siblings become raging alcoholics during
That's
COVID.
probably a part of
and
it too.
Probably turned them off so bad that they just went straight
We almost
for the
need
shrooms.
we almost need like a segment of like COVID adolescents versus the rest of the generation, because they're like their own thing, right?
I
Like
know.
if you were going through formidable years during COVID, you have your own generation. You're the COVID generation, and then before. So that's probably very true too.
Yeah, because
that,
I mean,
that can
there
play
was
in it.
like, I need an end to this day. I've been in this house for 30 days. When
Talk
is
about,
the
like,
end?
cabin fever.
It started at 5, or let's be honest, maybe 4.
Could you imagine being like an angsty teenager and being like, no, you can't leave,
No.
and you can't do anything?
And we wonder why they're addicted to video games.
Yeah, and by the way, this isn't going to last just like a week. This isn't like a snowstorm. This is a year and a half. You're locked.
A snowstorm is amazing.
Yeah, totally.
I live for a great snowstorm.
Yeah, but like at day 3 or 4, like I had some snowstorms growing up when we were like in the house, and I was like, I gotta go.
Well, that's because you were stuck with your parents.
Yeah, exactly. But
if
that's
you were just hanging out with your friends,
imagine
you would have had a great
4
time.
days of that, and now these kids had a year and a half of that. Like,
I know.
that's.
Do you know the weekend? Remember the Kirkland nursing home that broke out with COVID?
Yeah, we lived a half a mile away from there at that time, and I was like, of course.
Yeah, that weekend, Jonas had just graduated from like Washington Tech. He and Tawny got their first apartment together. I moved them in. That happened, and they were locked in that apartment for a year together.
They will survive any storm.
That is how they started their like together relationship.
Totally.
Their adulthood life.
So even for us too, we moved to West Seattle right after it started, and so COVID was happening, but then the West Seattle Bridge shut down. And like,
oh yeah.
And so we had like the West Seattle Bridge shut down like 2 weeks after we had moved. And so I was like, well, I guess we're going to get to know West Seattle pretty well. And my job in the wine industry at that time was kind of like on hold. It was a really weird time.
I know.
Like super weird. And then getting to Seattle from West Seattle took like an hour and a half, which was not fun.
When that West Seattle Bridge was down, I sold so many townhomes in West Seattle to first-time buyers because I'm like, the bridge will be rebuilt.
Totally.
This is where you go.
You know what? We were like, you know what? This was so funny because how like human behavior kind of changes, and what you think is going to happen like doesn't happen either. We thought like, oh, West Seattle is going to be like cut off and like prices are going to go down for the first time. And then we thought, you realize how great West Seattle is, and when it was cut off, prices were like, everybody's like, I love West Seattle, and just go to the moon, you know? Yeah.
I know.
They saw better prices for the sellers than any other neighborhood in Seattle for that like first 8-9 months, because it's like you have everything you could need in West Seattle and like most of what you want to, but it's like its own thing.
I know. It is very, very much its own thing. I love West Seattle. Okay. So we've experienced epic shit.
Yep.
And gone to our summer garden.
We've gone to Gigi's garden for sure.
Where are we going
into
next?
Fox Island. How about that?
I love an island.
Yeah.
Any island. I'm there.
Especially Fox Island.
Okay.
So this is a cab.
Who doesn't love a cab?
I sure do.
Aren't we moving to these glasses?
Oh yeah, we were. Sorry. Yeah, that's
Kyle,
it. Sorry.
This is your thing.
Sorry, this is my thing, and
Not my thing.
and I already messed it up.
And I can't drink that fast. What are those things?
I'm a professional.
Spittoons or whatever?
Yeah, spit cups. Well, that's what I was like. I was like, I won't put these up here because then it's gonna.
But you did,
sully it.
And then I said, I don't like the look of that.
So,
and who really is gonna spit? We're gonna do this and spit on camera.
Maybe.
I'm not a spitter. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Clip
it.
Hang on.
No, but like, imagine doing this 5 times a day.
Yes. No.
You can't.
You have to spit.
You become
Spittoony.
cross-eyed by like by lunchtime.
Oh my Lord. Fox Island. Yes.
Cheers.
Hello. I'm back on vacation right now.
Just a nice, good tannin level on that too. It's not too stringent. Super nice.
Okay, I cannot handle.
And how cool is that?
Their labels are insane.
Yeah. they've done an incredible job at branding all of their stuff. And I think brown is always at our house in some capacity too. Cara really likes the rosé. So, and it's,
we didn't even talk about rosé.
Like a Costco grab this time, but it's like we always stock up because it's like rosé is just fun. Rosé used to just be a summer thing. Now rosé is a full calendar year thing.
You're still going to have to make me a believer because the one thing I don't do is rosé.
I think that there's definitely different styles of that too. So there's like, feels like strawberry wine sweet rosés, and then there's really high mineral rosés. And it depends on, honestly, there was this wine, Dave Finney, the guy who did like Prisoner and Orange Swift and all that stuff. He had this this Corsica grown wine, and it was a rosé, and it was very, very like almost like red wine, but it was a rosé, and it was almost like, it was so big. You think of rosé, it's like light and stuff, and this one was not, but I really dug it. It was cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so that'll be like a taste testing that we do over this summer.
Yeah. Yeah, oh yeah.
Maybe at beach day.
Beach day, maybe we do different styles of rosé at beach day. Yeah.
I love this.
That's good. That's nice.
God, I'm so
wine.
glad you're on our team. We just got way more fun.
Well, that's why I'm part of the culture crew.
I love
bring the wine, bring the vibes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I know everyone's like, what are we doing for the holiday party? And I'm like,
we'll figure it out.
Not telling you.
Yeah.
We may know.
Yeah.
You don't know.
Yeah. We're going to have a great time, and don't ask questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just show up.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll regret it.
Yeah, exactly. I think holiday party will be fun. I've already started thinking about some things for that as well.
Oh,
too.
really?
So, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'll start reaching out to people soon too, just to be like, hey, we got to get this dialed in. It's crazy that you blink and it's almost June.
Summer happens so fast here.
I know.
That I feel like we're waiting all year to get to summer, and then summer's over.
I know.
And it's like,
well, I'm really appreciating right now, and I'm pretty sure anybody who's watching, listening that lives in the Pacific Northwest too, when you get these post 8 o'clock sunlight hours, it's like, yes,
heaven,
thank you.
heaven,
Thank you so
heaven.
much. You know?
You know what's been waking me up at 5 a.m. lately?
The sun. Because that's the other side of that. Yeah, yeah.
The birds.
Oh, totally.
chirping.
Because they're up. It's like, hey, guess what?
Yeah.
I'm up. You're up. What's up? You know?
I'm like, listen, little bird bitch.
Well, I
Give
feel
me
like
an extra hour.
I don't know if this is similar to you too, but like in the wintertime, I could probably sleep till 8 a.m. if I didn't have an alarm clock because it's like dark, right?
It's
like,
horrible.
It's horrible. And it's like you're dragging yourself out of bed. But in the summertime, peak summertime, I can be up at like 5 a.m. Like I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm not groggy. It's just like it feels like you should be up, right? So that's I'm super stoked for summer hours is what I really strive for here. And I'm not going up to Alaska this summer, but that's like my favorite thing to do is like spend a few days or a few weeks up in Alaska in the summertime and fish. And like,
where do you go?
Sitka to like go pack the freezer. Anywhere in the back country to go fly fishing.
I say this like, oh, where do you go?
Yeah,
like
you've been to every single like little remote village in Alaska.
I've only, you know where I've been in Alaska?
Where?
Once. Take a guess.
Valdez?
No, think of the most remote place you could go.
Nome?
With the most treacherous landing of any plane. Dutch Harbor.
Oh, you went way out to Dutch.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Well, my kid's dad, we were
he was
dating.
he was fishing.
Fishing, and we were about to get married, and I thought, I don't know where he goes.
I'll go surprise him.
In Dutch Harbor.
Yeah.
No, we decided like I should see physically where he goes. And this plane lands between two mountains with the sharpest turn, and it's one of those little planes.
Just like the smallest places too.
I was sitting next to a principal from a school because I was at the airport. When I saw how small the plane was, I was like,
no, not for me.
I have the worst fear of flying. I'm claustrophobic. It's a whole thing. Ask Joe Galindo if he's ever listening to this podcast about flying with me, or Noel Bortfeld or anyone. But I was not going to be able to get on the plane. So I called my girlfriend in Norway, whose father is a pilot, to get him on the phone to convince me to get on that plane. And then I get this principal who's like, come with me. And he's like, He's a principal, so he's got candy and he's feeding me candy.
But this is every day for anybody who lives in Alaska, right?
I know.
So like that's how you just get around.
I'm sitting there with the principal, eating my candy, sobbing.
I don't like small planes either. And like that's one of the things that I've just had to like deal with in some of the places that I go is like you're just gonna have to do this and not like it. But when you get there, it's all worth it. And by the way, some of the best pilots in the world, like that's where they are. They're in Alaska.
Yeah.
Like people that like to actually fly planes and not put something on autopilot, they're pilots in Alaska. They like to fly these things. But yeah, I've been to a few remote places up in Alaska, and I love to spend the summers up there because you can. It's like you need like an extra sheet over your tent if you're camping or something like that because it's just light until 3 a.m., 4 a.m. or 24 hours. And so like you're out there in the middle of the night and you're like, I can't sleep. I guess I'll just go fish at 2 a.m. in the morning. And it's 11 in the morning or 11 in the afternoon. It's just amazing.
That is wild.
Yeah,
crazy.
it is. It's kind of a crazy thing.
Okay. Well, I just have to share this because, we just went on this week-long vacation.
Yes.
So there was all the crap going on with TAS. Okay.
Yes.
And so we were booking our flights.
Yes.
So this was like a month ago.
We're TAS. You had a bunch of crap with TSA.
Hello.
Have another glass.
Good. Okay. TAS.
I was really worried about that
That's
too.
the agency, Seattle.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
That's who we are.
Yes, but TSA.
Yes.
So I wanted to avoid it, and we were going to Montreal.
Right.
So I said to Scott,
Let's fly
I
Air
will only
Canada.
go if we can fly first class. And we go up to Vancouver, we cross the border, and we're already there. We don't have to deal with anything. And
I saw Jordan's picture in business class.
Did you see her?
It looks like she
in
was
her
just
pod?
loving it.
I will never be okay ever again. I only want to fly Air Canada for the rest of my life.
But once you go, once you have like a business class experience too, you don't want to go. And which I don't understand why Seattle to New York or Seattle to Boston, none of the planes offer that. It's only if you go across the pond, right?
Yeah.
It's only if you're going to Europe you can even have that option. And I'm like, why don't we have any fleets that have it's a 6-hour flight, or even to Hawaii? I guess Hawaiian Airlines does have business class, but it's weird that long haul flights don't offer
and
that.
Jordan was sick coming home yesterday.
Oh no.
So I had to give her NyQuil.
Yeah.
She slept.
Yeah.
And thank God that we had that. But I sound like such a brat right now. But you have to understand, I have flown first class before.
Yeah.
All the way to Switzerland.
Yeah.
Whatever. This was Air Canada business class because they don't really have first class.
Yeah. Pod, lay down.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the bomb.
So we had one going down, but the one we were on yesterday, Air Canada, had touchscreen TVs.
Yeah.
There was a window in the bathroom.
I know.
And if you wanted to shut your shade, no, it was a button you pushed and it just shaded the window.
It's the best. I honestly,
what the heck?
Long haul flights, it's not. Now I'm going to sound like the brat, but it's like if I'm going to go there, it's fine. Take it. Because then you arrive and feel like you haven't been in a can of beans for 12 hours. You know what I mean?
I know.
Isn't that the worst thing? You go over to Europe and then you're like, oh God.
My back hurts, my
you're
neck.
You're in a terrible mood and it's like you're all packed in there like a can of sardines. It's like, no, that's the way. If you're going to do it, that's the way to go.
Just save the money.
Yeah,
it's
save the money and spend it.
Or maybe it's not to you, but for me it is.
Yeah.
With all of my anxiety, yesterday it got really bumpy coming down. I was looking at Scott. He was right there. Jordan was right there.
But you're like, I'm in my pod. I'm in my zen. I'm
Everything
good.
is safe in the pod.
Yeah. We'll be fine in the pod.
Yeah, totally. So we have been married for 10 years this year, and we never had a honeymoon.
Okay. So this was this?
No, this was our birthday trip.
Okay.
No, my husband's Canada. He wants to go to Italy and show me some new places. I want to show him some new places. And so I said, okay, well, maybe this will be the thing. So, and I would like to bring my kids. So
dream bucket list trip for Jen Cameron. Where's your itinerary? Where are you going?
Oh my God.
This is a game I like to play with everybody too.
I've never been to Paris.
Okay.
So I want to go to Paris. And I want to go to the Champagne region.
I should also say that I'm going to give you feedback after this too.
Okay. And then I want to go to Italy and I want to go back to Lake Como.
Yeah.
And there's a hotel, Villa d'Este.
Okay.
So on my bucket list is to take my family there for Christmas because already it's the most extraordinary place. But when it's decked out at Christmas and in Italy on the lake.
Like
Are
a
you
holiday.
kidding me?
Yeah.
And it already looks like, the most beautiful place. So those are on there. And I'd like to hit Gris, where Vicky Jackson currently is right now.
Where's she at in Greece right now?
I have no idea.
Is she island in it, or is
she's like on a sailboat.
Oh, yeah, she's probably
okay. She's gonna go to all. She's only gonna go to the best places.
Yeah, of course.
Vicky's gonna be like, let me explain to you how I roll.
Also, go Cougs, WSU grad, Harvard of the West.
Yes, yes.
Clip it.
Oh my God, we have so much Coug energy in here, and I'm not even a Coug. I'm nothing, but I love it.
I feel like Paris is a big, like, just probably maybe like that you felt like in like Quebec or Montreal too.
Yeah.
It's big. Like there's this like romanticizing Paris, and there's obviously a bunch of stuff. I feel like to really dive into Paris, you need like 3 weeks.
Really?
It's huge. Same with London, right? It's like, can you go to New York? Like you've lived in New York. Can you go to New York for 3 days and be like, I've seen New York?
I can get you to New York to see all of the best of
but
New
like
York in 3 days.
The stuff, right? But like really like diving it, not just like the
you're
going to wait in line for the Louvre for a day and a half.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Did that, and it was a day and a half. New York, there's a certain way to see it and experience it where I think in 5 days you could do it. But really you want a full week because you've got the time change,
right.
One of my favorite things to do in New York is to take the ferry down the East River because you go past Williamsburg, Brooklyn, all the way under the Brooklyn Bridge, past Dumbo into the financial center. And you look back and you see the city.
Totally.
And you get to see the
and now they've
landscape.
got what's the park that used to be like the train, the High Line.
The High Line.
We did that last time we were there. And I was like, this is the way to move because you get to look back and when you're at the bottom down by the meat packing district and you look up and you're like, oh, wow. So you don't realize how big New York is until you're like, whoa.
Yeah. When I lived in New York, 2010 to 14, it was like the meat packing had like all the best boutiques from Diane von Furstenberg to Bon Perfume to like the Italian boutique. And then I went back after COVID. I'm like, eek, what happened? And my favorite thing to do in New York would be to go to Chelsea Market, get a lobster roll, and go up to the High Line.
Yeah. And honestly, that was our day. We went Chelsea Market up to the High Line afterwards too. And it was so hot. And Cara was like 6 or 7 months pregnant. So it was like the High Line was shaded, right? It was like most of it's like protected by the buildings next to it. And you're on that like second level, and so the High Line was like an easy thing. And I was like, I don't know if we're doing a full day of walking, but she was a trooper that day because it was super fun. We did a couple museums and then we just bop into museums because they were all like AC. So you just like bop into a museum and spend an hour there and then cool down and then hit the High Line again.
I see a theme in our future. Today we did wine. Yeah. I think we're going to do a travel episode.
I think, that was one of the things that like I'm a huge history. Like I fall asleep to like YouTube history stuff. I'm kind of a nerd like that because I like to listen to those kind of things. But I think that's why wine intrigued me so much as like a career too, because especially in the old world, it's like most of the vines in Europe are because the Romans marched there, right? Like grapes grow wherever Rome was, right? Because that was such a big part of their culture, right? And so you have this history woven into like everything that's happened. But travel, wine, I mean, I'd love to. My dream job would be Anthony Bourdain's job.
Okay, but you sell real estate at the agency Seattle. Are you saying this isn't your dream job?
This is also, it would be like 1B. If I had to classify it, like, so I always say, what's people's bucket list, the game we play? And then also, too, if you won, like, the Mega Millions, Jen, this is the question. Me and Cara do this every 6 months. We reevaluate everything that life has to offer. Like, tomorrow you won $200 million, Jen. What are you doing?
Oh, my God.
This is the kind of conversations you have over a glass of cab.
Okay. I would say I have to work. Yeah. Like, I have such an active brain. Totally. I don't know anyone that would want to be around me if I didn't have outlets for all of the things. And
that's
definitely
very similar
creative
for
stuff,
me.
I have to. But I would want to have my own talk show. So this is my cosplay. Homegirl knows best.
So this is just beta. This is the beta program to like
until I hit the Mega
the Mega Millions, then you're gonna have like live with Jen. We'll just remember who the small people were when you were on your podcast.
Oh my God.
Bring me to the big show.
I don't know. My 400 followers. Thank you. I'm so honored. I feel like such a rock star. I would want to have a talk show where I would invite a guest and they would, of course, come.
Right.
Because it's
exactly.
Homegirl.
Well, and you're on the big stage now, too. Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So, like, I want Elton John. And I want to ask him all the things I want to ask him. Okay. Desperately want to meet him. I don't know.
So what's the questions? I'm Sir Elton John. Yeah, I am.
Elton, have I been as big of an influence in your life as
you've been on mine?
Barbara Corcoran.
Okay.
Girl, that woman, like, I don't care about the Shark Tank and all the successful businesses. I want to have a conversation with Barbara Corcoran, please.
Just see how her mind uncorked
Barbara
works.
Corcoran.
Yeah.
I am begging you to come on Homegirl Knows Best because you are truly my hero and such a mentor in my life and real estate.
I think she's
as
really
a woman.
fun too.
She is amazing.
Yeah.
And I've always been one step to her, but forget all of her success.
Yeah.
To be such a trailblazer for women like me in this business who have put up with so much discrimination, sexual harassment, misogyny, which is a whole nother episode of Homegirl Knows Best in real estate. And I worked in New York City at Corcoran. I worked, and Teresa Hall was a huge mentor to me. I've talked about her on this show so many times. I think this is just a constant. One day, Barbara Corcoran will hear me.
One day they're going to scroll past and they're going to be like, all right, we're coming.
This poor girl. Yeah. she needs to, before she dies, I need to do this. So I heard all the stories firsthand from Teresa. We go to Barney's and lunch and things, and I was just so inspired. And then I started buying her books and reading them. And
Lotto is talk show for you. You're just like, you're moving over Hollywood money and we're going full talk show. That's awesome.
I'm going to give the brokerage to, I guess, Tawny. Let's just give it to her.
She'll run the show.
She'll just be in charge.
You're gonna leave. You're just gonna leave it up for grabs, and it's gonna be Game of Thrones in the next.
Actually, maybe I'll give it to Eric. Tawny.
Yeah.
Jonas. No, it has to go to Tawny and Jonas because they're my heirs, and then Scott probably because he is my husband.
There you go. But you're off on talk show. That's what you do for. Okay.
Yeah.
200 million. Like, I always put, like, a ridiculous number out there. Not like the Washington lot.
200 million?
You think of, like, Powerball numbers. That's, like, my... Do you ever play the Lotto?
We're talking that big?
That's no, that's what I'm saying.
Fuck the talk show.
Yeah.
I'm over it.
I was
like, 200 million?
Hey, good for you, Jen.
I'm taking my family. I'm retiring them all, and we are traveling the world.
Well, that's... We were just doing, like, the Washington Lotto at 14.6. You're like, oh, I'm going to do a talk show. Yeah. But this is also a question. When do you start buying... like Powerball tickets? How big does the Powerball have to be?
First of all, I'm cheap. The fact that I bought 2 belts and those sunglasses on this trip, full price, is a big deal. Because I always want to get things on sale.
You're just frugal. You want
I work really hard for my money.
Bingo. Kara's the same way.
I grew up with nothing. So my mom was always like, you get 2 pairs of shoes. These are your school shoes. These are your fancy shoes.
You're very specific on what you buy.
And we were also taught to take really good care of what we have.
Totally.
You've seen what a psycho I am in the office. Do not sit on the arm of that couch.
And you better not put that jacket on the back of that chair. Hang it up.
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah. But that's just because we were taught to really
100%,
take care of what we have
100%.
because we never had the money to replace it. So now that we're in 200 million, again, my job would be to work.
This is fuck you money.
Okay. My fuck you money is I want a travel agent that I can now hire and pay, but I can direct. My job is
salary
to direct
travel
them.
agent. Yeah.
And then I want to blow out often.
Yeah. Okay.
That's part of my job, calling and arranging that.
I feel like that's a dig at me right now. Okay.
And maybe a massage therapist. Okay. Okay. And a personal trainer and a chef. I mean, my job is now to organize those things. And as we travel the world. That's your schedule
now, is just to organize your staff of fun things.
That is my full job.
Hey, from I need to work. No, 200 million, Jen. What are we talking about here?
What's your fuck you money?
See how that I'm also like you, like mid-range, like I'd have to stay busy because I'd drive Cara nuts. If I was just like, hey, we don't have anything to do today, she would be like, get out of here. You know what I mean? Like, go find something to do. But I think for like the big one, I think what I would love to do is like travel big time, but specifically, I'd really love to rent an RV and do all the national parks.
Okay. I sort of know you because in my head, you know what I thought you were going to say?
What?
I want to take Cara and Sunny to like the most beautiful places.
Yeah.
By a river.
Yeah.
And we're glamping.
Totally.
And we've got the best
and we can do
wine
it
and the chef and the things. And I'm looking at Cara and she's like,
I don't want to do this.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
She's like, she's in a parka at Denali in Alaska. She's like, yeah, it looks great.
And Sunny's like, yay, let's go.
Yeah. So that's actually, we're kind of figuring out who's she going to like lean towards, because like, but by the way, Cara will go and she'll do it, but she'll do it, but it may be not the first thing she wants to do. But
what do you think her fuck you money dream would be?
Oh, Cara would, because she needs a project too. You know what she would want to do? She'd want to open like Nordic spas. She's like all about spa life.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're not going to believe this.
Yeah.
I am literally going to make her dream come true, because when we were in Quebec City, we went to a Nordic spa.
Aren't they the best?
It's called Strom.
Yeah.
They must have had 3 steam rooms, 5 dry saunas. You come out of the dry sauna, there's showers and these buckets of salt that you rub your body down and then you shower off, and then you go over to the infrared chairs, and then there's all these like hammocks and fires and places, and the lazy river, and then the salt float.
That's, by the way, that's part of this renovation of this home is like, we're putting a sauna in the backyard because like we've wanted one forever. And it's like,
I'm coming over.
Yeah. And that's what she would, honestly, if it was like 200 million, she'd be like, yeah, we're opening up these everywhere. And by the way, I don't understand why they haven't popped up. If anybody's listening, this is a big business opportunity. There's like 2 in Washington that are like true, like the full service Nordic style spa.
No.
There's nothing.
No. If you saw Strom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you go over to Finland and they're like a dime a dozen.
We
walk
got
down
rivers
the street.
all over.
Yeah,
the one in Quebec City is on the river.
100%. You know, and some of them can be on the sound too. Like, you want a cold plunge? Here's the sound. Yeah. You know what I mean?
If somebody really, really wants to get rich, okay, as in Strom.
Yeah.
Spas.
If somebody who's rich, who wants to get really rich. Yeah.
Open a full-on Nordic spa here in the Seattle area. Because we are freezing all the time.
Yeah, you'd crush.
And we're stressed out to the max because we have no vitamin D in our body.
And it's like, by the way, like you look at like what our climate is. It's like, why wouldn't we just mimic the things that they're doing? And everybody's like, you look at like the Scandinavian countries, everybody's happy. It's like, they have a sauna all the time. Yeah. You know what I mean?
They're always in
infrared sauna. Yeah.
And they go out in nature and exercise, and they don't even have to wear makeup because they're just glowing from it.
You know, I went to New Orleans 2 weeks ago now, and something I think that everybody in the Pacific Northwest, Seattle specifically, needs to do is like go to New Orleans once every 3 years. And just everybody's so nice. Like you forget, I think with big tech, people that are transient in Seattle, like only here for a couple of years and then they bounce and they go to Austin or San Francisco. They don't really put down roots and they don't make the effort to either. But it's like, flip that upside down, and that's like New Orleans. People are just like so like welcoming and want to talk to you, and people say hi to each other on the street. I think it's a really good refresher for people to go see like how to talk to one another just on a daily basis too. Just people say hi.
That's how it was when we were in Charleston. But let me tell
100%.
you, Canada last week, I had the best experiences with people.
Yeah.
I was lost.
Canadians are
I couldn't
super friendly
speak
too.
French.
Yeah.
People were so nice. Maybe we just all need to work harder.
I think we live in a place too that I think we just need to be active in it. And by the way, I'm the person when you're walking down the street, I'll get down on your level to try to make eye contact because I like to say hi to people.
And I'm over here, I'm like, who are you looking at? You looking at me?
Yeah. Oh, that's because you spent time in New York. You're like, yeah, I'm walking in, you know? But like, I think that if you do that, the connection that you like, everybody, it's contagious too, right? Yeah. You like start talking to 10 people at a time, and then you really start to actually build this, and it's contagious. It really is. Like, and when I touched down there, and you know, when somebody like you have, like I took a red eye to New Orleans, and which that was like an experience in itself. But like getting there and being there before my whole group got down there, and eating like shrimp and grits at like 5 a.m. and on Bourbon Street, and nobody's there. You forget like people are just so sweet and kind, and then it just built from that. And I was like, that's a great city, and that's a free plug for New Orleans. But I think anywhere down south, the people,
we got a free plug for Brown.
Yeah.
Strom Spa.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
We gotta get some sponsors
That's
on here.
This is ridiculous.
Do you have an agent for this? I'll
Can
be
I hire you?
Yeah, I'll be your agent.
Oh my God. Everybody who's listening right now are like, yeah, they were kind of snoozy at the beginning, but God, they're fun now.
This is the last free ad show of Homegirl Knows Best.
Okay. I would just like to thank my guest and my agent, Kyle Mumma at Homegirl Knows Best and Brown Winery.
Yeah.
This was epic.
Thanks, Zach.
But we got to go.
See ya.
If you've made it this far, thanks for listening and thanks to my guest. Make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. See ya!